Okay, I'll try to show the last of these things. Oh, I should be not doing it. These are old photos. The sun was big and bright and in those days, whereas now it doesn't tend to look like that. Some people say, maybe those in the know, or maybe those that just have a bad memory. All these things are how you really want to see things, and do you want to see the truth. But, you know, things are different to 10 years ago when this photo was taken. And even I can't remember it all. But it was different. You know, there's no doubt about that it was different. And the photos show it, and if I could only still have some of just half the photos that were taken here 10 years ago, if I could retrieve them, but I don't know where they are because they just seem to have disappeared. And some of them do show that certainly some of the things that I mentioned, particularly about the surveillance and the excessive vehicles on the road, wherever I go, it would show that the streets were empty, even though this is still a city. You know, it would show that, because photos don't lie. You know, they say a picture tells more stories, doesn't it? They say that, and it's true. A picture speaks 1,000 words, whereas my words, unless I'm a demigod or someone who has some influence, or people trust and believe me somehow, and there's no reason they should, you know, because you have to be an internet demigod, or a computer demigod, or an androgyne being, more accurately, to do this, to be able to successfully do it. You can do it, but you won't be successful. You won't get many takers. And that's just how it is. And I'll just finish up on these photos if I can put them in. I normally would prefer to make a long video, but the recording always stops out, so I want to show this first one here. Just while I can, I'll just show these, but I don't know if I'm getting them in. Birds twerping outside, acknowledging what I'm saying. Because don't forget, the matrix controls everything. Yes, someone actually said a few years ago, even the birds are part of the matrix. In other words, everything is being used by the powers that be, or this artificially intelligent world, to control the human mind. It's just that it all still appears random and natural, unless they openly, in a covert manner, come down on you and openly expose themselves, like in my particular environment. But that's only because they have to, I guess. Most of the time, I don't think that happens. But it does seem to happen with certain people due to, I don't know, just they don't think that you're going to fit in somehow or something. Or maybe they just not taking any chances or something. I can't really say. I sort of think that I figure things out a bit because I've had time enough, and I've certainly spent enough time watching enough of the Android videos, because yes, they tell you the truth. They always inform you of what they're about to do or what they've already done. Usually artificial intelligence tells on itself and tells you about itself and tells you what it intends to do while it's already doing it. plane is going over as I say that. That means yes. Because that's part of, I become very aware of that when you have planes going over every time you think something, and that could be like in the blink of an eye. You become aware that it's a very false reality, and it's very suppressing and very controlling for a human being. It's very anti-human mind and anti-human life, this artificial intelligence. And you only realise this when it openly shows it to you. By then, of course, it's too late. That's the only problem. Because if they're showing you what they're already doing, then it's too late for you, isn't it? Because you can't stop it because it's already in existence. That's the problem. I don't know what I'm filming here. Oh, I'm trying to get the birds in and the sun, but I don't know if I am. Guess I probably am if I get close. Oh, why? Why are they making noise when it is a Sunday and they're not allowed to do mechanical work? I should go with the mobile to see what's going on. But of course they want you to do that because then they get the negative energy out of you. They get your attention. They get your focus. These are all artificially intelligent beings around. Or psychopaths if you want to pretend that it's a little bit more human. But how human are even psychopaths? You know that they are totally not human in the sense that they don't see other human beings as human beings. They don't see anything as human. Everything is material to them. And they themselves don't even see themselves as human because they know they don't experience human emotions. So it's like that. You know, and it's very hard or very easy to misinterpret something which isn't human as human when it talks human, it walks human, and it imitates being human. How would you not think that or know that it isn't human? It's only if you, as we're told, if you actually spend a lot of time with these beings in private, that you would actually see what they really are. That's what we call seeing their dark side. And actually their dark side is really their truthful side. That is really what they are. Because all the rest is seduction and pretense. I don't know what I'm filming here. I'd like to think that I'm filming and it's coming out, but I don't know. Oh, I can't hold the thing any longer. Absolutely exhausted. Oh, 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 oh. Sorry about that. Oh. I can't see what I'm filming here. I've just got the mobile up close to the screen. I hope that I'm getting the scene in, but I'm probably not, because I should have the widescreen on, because the widescreen would get this in even if it's not quite frame bright. And that was because I had it round here, and it doesn't matter. I'll try again later to make it better. Oh, maybe that would be oh. Oh. Oh, that one's, oh, it's blurry, that one, so I'll have to get the better one. Just trying to avoid showing the you know, that hypnotizing kind of light that it shows, you know, because I don't think I'm getting this in. I don't think I could be getting it in. So there's the birds there, and see the sun there. The sun doesn't look like that now, but it must have looked like that then, because photos don't lie, do they? Do they? Of course, they say that that human beings are so mind controlled that they're basically controlling your mind day to day, and so they're changing every scene day to day, and you're unaware. That's like in some fantasy movies that we see. So that really means that in the moment you have to be very alert if that really is taking place. And I think it's quite possible, even though it's not a truth that we can deal with. No, it's not something you can deal with. But just because you can't deal with something doesn't mean that it's not what's really happening. It's just that you don't understand that. You know, you don't understand that, and you don't want to understand it, and you don't, I can't see what I'm filming here, so perhaps I should finish up. I'll go on this last one because I really can't do any more. I just tried to get all these photos in, but it's actually too time consuming and taking my energy, and the planes going over the roof are taking my energy, and just the prospect of having to even go outside today is daunting, as usual, even though I've been doing it for years now. Sometimes I actually feel physically sick at the thought of going outside. And that's really not good. That's not normal, and that's not healthy, and that's because if you're continually patrolled and controlled, or continuously stalked by people, vehicles, and set up, council staged operations, whether it be false constructions, anything to make negative sound and to take over your visual reality, or in other words, just to come into your space and take over your sight. That's putting it fancy, but that's the reality. Am I getting this in? I don't think so. I'll have to finish up here, I think. A little, that's all gone now, and that moment was gone, but also that whole area is now gone. It's not that far from here, but it's all been changed. So you would no longer see the sun come. You still probably see the sun coming up, but you won't see the birds sitting on the edge, or well, you might see some. You might see some. Are they seagulls in the water there? Oh dear, they're very. The sun's not as big as that. Now, you probably wouldn't see the sun like that. No. I don't think you'd see the sun like that. Pretty sure you wouldn't see the sun like that, but not now. I haven't seen anything like it. And even then, I think it was probably fairly bright to make you want to take the photo. It must have looked quite pretty. But I can't really remember. I'm not really sure. But I know the photos are there. And so I don't know. But am I getting it in or not? Must be getting something in. Can I get something in? Finish up on a deer dog that was blind, and yet, look, blind and yet going in choppy water to retrieve a ball for its owner. Can that be real? It was. And I don't want to even, I want to finish up on something on the other photo, because it's too difficult for me to realise that, it's too difficult for me to realise. I can't believe how smooth my voice sounds, that I actually sound calm and know what I'm talking about, whereas I'm really a total nervous wreck and agitated most of the time. The only time I feel sure is when I'm talking a bit of truth to myself in a video. Isn't that ridiculous? It's strange at best, as you can imagine. But it's the reality. old sun, or at least the sun of the past. I ain't seen much sunlight in my life. They say that the android and the controllers of Earth don't like water or sun too much, but whether that, I would think that they probably are conditioned to it now. But maybe, they do like to keep us in the dark, and the more you're away from natural things and light and your affinity to water and light and things, I would think that of course it does keep you more suppressed. But it's the end time now, so they have to be part of that, and they have to pretend to be of the light and the water, etc., and that this is all real. And also that but also that because they've also probably conditioned themselves to it, because they've combined with humanity and need to feel the human light, need to combine with humans' mind and their emotions in order for their necessary survival. So therefore, it's a bit like psychopaths don't relate to humanity, but in order to control a human being, to get the negative energy from them and to have their feelings of power and superiority, we're told that of course they learn to imitate and even understand and relate to humanity in order to control them. And that's essentially what happens. And I better stop here because I think that I'm going to be annihilated if I don't stop, because I'm actually nearly keeling over here and having a few problems. Something is wrong with my shoe. It's very slippery, which, they are trying to take me out and down. I know that. Every day. It's happened so many times. It's just a matter of time before I'm finished. And so you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful. Because they resent you doing anything. Because they resent the fact that I even took these photos, or that even relatives took photos. They don't like you having a human existence, or even reminiscing on a human past. Because obviously this isn't anything that I do now or that I'm experiencing now. But they're extremely anti-human and anti-life, and this is something that unfortunately you have to realise. It's not something you want to accept, and you hope that it wouldn't be the case. But it's no point in trying to get on with a species. Well, you can try, and I certainly keep trying, but it is futile, I would think, because they're not, experience shows you that they're not about getting on with you. They don't want to cooperate or collaborate with you. They will only do that if they had no other alternative, and even that would probably only be to seduce you in the moment so that they can then wait their time to start up their takedown program of you again, which is what they're told that malignant narcissists do. If they're really at rock bottom, they will placate you and even get on board with you and try to pretend to be, sorry and part of something to help you. But that's only until they can get back on their feet so they can rise up again in order to take you down again. We're told this about malignant narcissists, and basically you have to presume that that will always be the case. Because they're not like human beings where they're ever going to... It's not possible for me to explain it, but they don't seem to want... I can't explain it. They must be just single-minded, and it's like trying to change something into something that it can't be and never was, just as they try to change a human being into being a psychopathic cyborg, or at least something that isn't human, or to where you at least can't live. It's the same thing, and they have better success than what we do with getting them to be remotely human. I would honestly say that they're much more successful at transforming or transhumanizing us into more like them, because they have the numbers, they have the technology, and they are, the authority or the powers that be. So if you look at it in that light, humanity can be changed a lot easier than what you could ever change the mind of a psychopath or get them to collaborate or cooperate with you to where, you're meeting halfway type of thing, in other words, to where you're like saying, why does anyone have to go down? But they're not about that kind of thing. We're told that psychopaths and narcissistic, malignant narcissists operate in the death drive. We're actually told this. They don't operate in a life drive. So therefore their goals and their way of looking at life and about reality is totally different, I would think. So they're not really ever going to be about combining with humanity for even survival. They would rather probably, I'm guessing, take themselves and humanity down if it meant that they have to have a subordinate role, because they're all about power and control, nothing else. Human beings might like a little bit of control, sure, but that's not their whole existence. Isn't usually wrapped around it. Not usually. Not if you're trying. I mean, I wouldn't think so. I think we're led to believe that human beings are a bit like that, or some are like it, but in reality, they're not. In reality, you've got two different species. The power players of Earth, your demigods on the world stage in Earth and your demigods of the internet are all a different species. They are not human beings. And that's the basic difference. So they are only about having some sort of power and control. They're never about cooperation. So they would rather, I think, take everything down if they can't keep that. That's just the unfortunate way that I think they see it. Because human beings wouldn't probably see it that way, but that's the difference. And that's where human beings get led into thinking that if they think that way, then why it seems logical to a human being. But these beings aren't, although they're highly intellectual, they're actually not logical. They're only logical in their game of power and control. There's no other logic, I don't think, to them. Android beings are not human beings, and they may come in a human package, as they say, but they are not human. And that is something that human beings don't understand. As the old saying goes, if it looks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, then it must be a duck. If it looks like a human, if it talks like a human, if it walks like a human, if it acts like a human, then it must be human. No, it isn't. That's the problem. That's the end game deception. And you will only know them by their fruits or by their actions or by the negative sound they make, by their unnatural, aggressive motions or emotions that will be shown to you only when it suits them and only if no one else is looking. But you will see it if you're a real human. Eventually you'll see it probably. But most of the time you'll see it when it's already taken place. What is going on outside there with all that banging? I'm going to have to go and have a look, see why they're doing construction when it's a Sunday and they're not allowed to do construction on Sunday. But, or of course it could just be the neighbours banging around, substituting for the construction. Because if people want to bang drums, even though it's a Sunday, see it's daylight now, so they can theoretically do that. But it is just making their presence felt. You never have a moment's peace and quiet, apart from, you know, before the sun come up in those early hours when I did make a video.